That face helped a lot.
You did.
Of course.
And it's churning.
It's turning and turning.
Hey friends, Obie and Kelly here with Lunar Illuminations. We appreciate you joining us if you're on or you're watching it later. We do have a house full. We thought we would be outside, but Mother Nature had other ideas today.
So we have a live audience here at our house, as well as all of you out there in Facebook land. So we welcome you in joining us to learn about the Gemini New Moon cycle. We're going to talk about some of the lessons that we're going to be learning. Some of you may already be learning them.
Ouch.
Boom. So today is known as the dark moon, the day before the new moon. And actually the new moon is tomorrow, but we plan on being on the trail, backpacking tomorrow. So we wanted to do this ceremony, this lesson tonight. And we have already opened sacred space here to make this a sacred learning space for everybody tonight. And Obie will kind of watch as people join on. And I see that Crystal there.
Hey, Crystal. We have a Crystal online.
Oh.
There you go.
Beautiful, beautiful friend.
Yes,
That's
yes.
awesome.
And so we were just saying, Crystal, that we do have some people live here. So when you see me talking off into space, there are actually people out there. And those voices that you hear are other participants. Real voices out there. So go ahead.
Well, I do want to talk about one other thing that's kind of gone on besides the new moon. Did everybody know we had 3 planets in retrograde that hit us all at once this week? Did you have anybody else have problems this week?
Just you, Obie.
Well, ma'am. So there were 3 planets, and I did want these. I kept this email specifically because I thought the notes about this was pretty cool.
Hi, Linda.
Last Monday, Saturn kicked us off. Saturn went into retrograde. It stays in retrograde till September 29th. It rules our responsibilities and our commitments. Yep. Time to reevaluate where we want to place our energy and make those adjustments. That wasn't bad enough. Then Venus, the love planet, decides Wednesday, it went into retrograde until June 25th. It governs love and beauty. You know, her retrograde is a time to return to what we love and incorporate more of it in your lives. So we're just going to live in the mountains.
There you go. There you go.
And then rounding off, starting, drum roll, tonight, Jupiter goes into retrograde, and I have to switch to my phone. Yeah. It goes there until September 12th. It's the planet of luck and expansion. Reminds us that growth is an inside job. Pretty cool line if you think about it. This retrograde reminds us to feel into your potential over this period and shift your internal vibration to change your external world. So, you know, great stuff. We've got some Geminis that are friends of ours that were really excited about this kit and reached out to me this week.
Hi, April.
And April's got friends here and who are going to deliver your kit, right?
Yes.
Hey, cool. That's special.
And they get to pick your stones. So very,
Do you
very
trust them?
And Sheena's online. My IU members, so I've got to reach. Sheena's online.
Everybody's got a hi for Sheena there.
Hi, April. We love you too.
So this is our first combo live gathering and Facebook live gathering. So it's kind of interesting. We'll see how this rocks and rolls through this. We do try to keep it at about half an hour on the information, but we'll be able to have a little bit of open discussion with people here. So I wanted to share a little bit about Gemini. It's so interesting because all the other planets, and whoops, there went our moon.
Yeah,
all of the other planets that are in retrograde really play into Gemini. And so when you think about the twins, you know, a lot of people think about Gemini as being really mischievous, and kind of mysterious, but then that flip side, because of the twins, there's that intellectual, intuitive side. And what Gemini is here to teach us is that we have to have both sides of every story. So you need both sides of the twin to integrate. And so Gemini is all about communication. So if you've been feeling things go haywire today, that could be show of hands. Who's been having communication issues today? So really paying attention to that communication energy, because when we think about those two sides of Gemini, and Gemini teaches us that we really need to listen and be present. So we have to listen to the other side. And so it's not about debate, but it's about taking the energy in. And if we can stay in Gemini and be in that learning space, it's about learning a new perspective. It's about taking in new information. And so if we can be in that space rather than the defensive space, when somebody has different opinions than we do or different information than we do. And unfortunately, we've been seeing that a lot. And we see it in our day-to-day lives and seeing a lot on social media of people having opposite opinions and it just turning into something kind of ugly. And Gemini's like, no, 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 no. That is not what this is about. It is about learning to expand. Gemini is about expansion. So if we can listen to another point of view and just take it as that, it's another point of view. And there's so many different points of view. Mm-hmm. And so that communication with other people and listening to them and paying attention to how you communicate. But then the flip side of that is also communication with yourself, and paying attention to how you communicate with yourself. We all have mantras. I call them old messages, old tapes in my head that will play, that will repeat. You mess up and there comes that, oh, you're so stupid. Rock's wanting to get in on the action here. I don't know if you can see his head poking up here. He wants Mama to love on him. He's already been to everybody in the room. But with that, now I lost my train of thought with Rock. I know. See how that happens.
Communication with yourself.
Yes, paying attention to those messages. So, if you make a mistake and, say, oh, you're so stupid. Well, now where's that coming from?
Yeah.
Where's that coming from? Because those are old messages. Those are some kind of beliefs that are down there, underlying, and we use mantras to reinforce them, but they're not necessarily messages we want to reinforce, but we do them out of habit. And habit is what we do just because it's what's familiar. It doesn't mean it's good for us. It doesn't mean that we even really enjoy it many times, but it's because it's what's familiar.
Several people are really connecting in this. We've got a pretty good audience online. Trish is on.
Awesome. Hi, Trisha.
It reflects some study that she's been doing on the Stoics.
Oh, wow. Awesome.
So it really connects up there. So
yeah. And so how do we go in and change that perspective? And Spirit Daughter is who we get a lot of our information on the new moon and the full moon from. And so she gave some tips about how to go in and change that perspective. I talk all the time in my work and working with clients about changing our perspective because we are our perspective. The world is how we see it. Your perspective is your reality. And so it's like, well, how do you go about that? And so some of the recommendations that they used in this time during Gemini is to really get quiet and get yourself centered. And then just pick an event. It doesn't have to be a big one, but maybe an argument with a coworker or a time that you got your feelings hurt. And then just kind of look at it as an observer. So that you're just watching the event as kind of an experiment, like you're somebody that just watched it happen, rather than the person it was happening to. And then think about how you felt in that moment and what inner belief might have caused that. So if you had a conflict with a coworker where you got mad when they criticized you, well, was it because you have that inner belief that you can't do anything right? And so they were just reinforcing that belief. So if you had a belief that you try your very hardest and sometimes you make mistakes, and you're willing to change those mistakes, and a coworker came to you with the same information, would it be different? Mm-hmm. So it's like rewrite the story, change the belief. Does that make sense?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
And so when I was studying that, I just thought, because I do talk about that a lot, because, the world is how we perceive it. And the exact same events can be happening to two different people, and they're reacting completely different. One of my favorite stories is the two little boys that go into a room just piled high with manure. just huge pile of manure.
This is
And
a story, good story.
this is a good story. One little boy's like, well, this is
This is a
disgusting.
Hydro, Oklahoma
This
story.
is disgusting. Why are we in this room? And the other little boy's just digging through it and digging through it. And he says, well, with all this shit here, there's got to be a pony in here somewhere.
Is that a wig story?
I don't know where that came from.
It sounds like a wig.
But two different perspectives, you know? And so Gemini really encourages us to try to adjust that perspective, you know, when we're engaging with other people and when we're looking within, because this is a time that you can really transform some of that stuff. A big time for learning. You know, so researching stuff online, you know, attending classes, trying to gather information from other people that are knowledgeable. And they said, don't worry if you feel like it doesn't all make sense, because then it will come together. Your job is to just kind of compile it and then it will come together. But that's how you're going to expand. And that's how you're going to grow, is by gathering that information and being open enough to take it in, even if it comes from unusual resources, like maybe one who has a different opinion than you do. You know. So is anybody having some of those experiences? Has that energy started kicking in yet this week? Matt is, yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And so, you know, so it's having that, and we had that earlier in the year about having that neutral observer thing about being able to take in the information. I can't remember what new moon it was.
You know, some of the stuff just runs in cycles.
Mm-hmm.
Well, obviously the moon is all about cycles, but but you
Exactly.
you know, when you do two ceremonies like we do now a month, and you're like, wait, Gemini, my birthday's later in the year, but you know the new moon is really powerful for Kel and I. We're big new mooners, and we like the full moon. It's beautiful and this and that, and there's a whole nother energy. But to me, the new moon carries for the whole month, and the full moon just hits me those 3 or 4 days. So you get a taste of Gemini medicine then too, you know. And of course, you know, if we really, really wanted to live our life high and by the moon, you've been posting some great stuff
Oh, thanks.
lately. But you could see as the energies even change day to day, I started going back. I don't really sit down and read for the day until after the day. You know, unlike my friend Annie and this and that who do a lot of reading in the morning, they're reading about what's coming for the day. I went, well, that's why that happened. You know, so I read it sort of, you know, after the day, but it's all good stuff. Trisha's got a pretty good comment.
Oh, go ahead.
This is energy definitely kicking in. Anyone with the Shaman Oracle deck, the witness is all about this observation.
Oh, yes. Yeah, most definitely. We love that deck. It has become everybody's favorite, I think.
One of them.
One of them. So another thing is to really pay attention to the energies, how you're taking in energy, how you are projecting it out. One of the things that we need to be aware of is, and it's almost like that whole thing about your first impressions. You know, when you walk into a room, your energy goes in before you. You know, people pick up your energy whenever they're around you. So if you're saying, I'm great, I'm doing wonderful, but you have this black cloud that came into the room before you, you know, they're not going to hear anything that you're saying. You know, you're not going to be congruent. You're not going to be trustworthy, you know. So really being congruent and aware of that energy and resetting that energy, because this Gemini energy can be pretty intense. And so it's really important to take those moments, whether it's just doing some cycle breathing, you know, the 4-4-4 breathing, just taking time to get yourself centered whenever you start to feel like, woo, because you've got the both sides of the story, both those twins there. So Obie did some great research and put together another wonderful new moon kit.
It was a pretty good kit this time.
I got really excited because the people that are here live, they each have their packages and they were going through them almost like kids at Christmas through their stockings. And I was like, oh, it is so wonderful to watch everybody going through their kits. So Obie's going to talk a little bit about the kits and items that are in there, some of the symbology of the stones and those types of things.
Yeah, you know, it's a really It was just a great kit. It was a great, appreciate those that bought kits. I know they were a little more expensive. The stones were a little more expensive. But I have to go straight to the Septarian stone. I don't even have that card first pulled up. It's just this gorgeous stone, guys. It's so,
The baklava stone is what.
it reminds me, I go to Jaguar Medicine. I think
Coffee.
you
Coffee?
think of
Coffee.
toffee. Don't eat your stone.
I licked them already.
You guys
keep everybody
claiming
off of
them,
them.
yeah.
We licked them. Are you supposed to lick frogs? You lick your stone.
So yeah, it's a little unruly when we have a live crowd and it's full of kittens. The Tamamichi IU is here, alive and well.
And Trisha, yes, you can get a kit. And my Rocklahoma friend Shanna's on. So
Awesome,
I'm gonna make
Shanna.
a fish face just for
Oh, there you go.
Shanna if she's still online.
I would have worn my shirt if I'd known.
But again, it's all about health and abundance. It's an earth element stone. You can look at the different layers of that stone specifically. I wish if I wear my glasses, I'd glare and then I can't read anything with thing. It encourages really to. I cannot do this without my glasses. Can you?
You want me to get your glasses?
Yeah,
See
the
what
case
they
is
are?
on printer.
Okay.
Sorry, guys.
Sorry, I'm leaving in a second.
So anyway, we do have the Septarian stone. We also have a beautiful rough. We all love our little quartz points and our quartz pendants and our pendulums and whatnot. But something about a natural cut quartz that has no inclusions. It's beautifully clear. It's beautifully raw and natural. It's a really nice stone. The
Glasses to the rescue. Everybody loves being over 40.
again, but now I got glary eyes, but that's okay.
Yes, just you wait, my dear. Well, Obie hasn't hit 50 yet, so he can't
Stop.
blame it on that.
Stop. It really encourages one to revel in life and fully enjoy this brief foray into matter. So, well, think about the Septarian stone. You think about the Gemini. This is just a brief month. I can handle the two sides. I can look at things internally, but it's just a brief foray. And I don't want to read everybody's whole cards, but these cards specifically just have more information than I normally put on them because they just ended up being great physical, great emotional, and great other things just specifically for each of the stones. Some of the specific ones on the I cannot read tonight.
Do we need to move left?
Nope, we're good.
Okay.
It's also a great stone for helping strengthen group activities such as this. That is a pretty good group online in here. Facilitates an energy exchange among many members. It's an excellent stone to have when creating a circle or a gathering. So we might want to take one of these stones this weekend.
Are we talking about the
Septarian.
Yeah. Okay.
It also enhances communication while protecting privacy. I know. I wouldn't
Kind of
think
sets
that.
those boundaries and helps you to communicate while still staying within your boundaries is how I would interpret that.
Absolutely. Back to the clear quartz. This is the all-can-do crystal. If anyone ever says it works with, it's a chakra, specific chakra, it works with every chakra. If anyone says it's a specific element, it's with every element. All energy absorbing, healing, clearing quartz. I mean, it literally is the Swiss Army knife of everything. The list of properties from my favorite resource: programmability, amplification of one's intentions, magnification of ambient energies, clearing, cleansing, healing, memory enhancement, the jack of everything stone. It's just amazing. And in that particular text, they tend to stick with the fire, the water, the earth elements. Almost every stone falls under those headings. This is one of the few stones in the entire book that mentions it's under the storm element.
Oh.
It's that powerful. So again, that's why we like it so much. Some of the stuff that's spirit.
That's why it's been raining today.
Oh,
You brought the rain in.
Yes. It can also provide clarity of mind. It's a perfect stone when you need to focus on your task at hand.
I put one of those in your pocket.
Yeah, thank you.
You're welcome.
One of the other stones that came in specifically was this chrysocolla. For those who want to hold that to the camera.
Is that the green looking one?
That is the green looking one.
Green tinges
And
to
again,
it.
it's kind of the most natural stone in the kit this time. And those that are getting the kits, my recommendation is when you're playing with these stones later, you need to see this stone wet.
Yeah.
What this stone looks like wet, I don't know how well it would tumble, Casey, but when you see this stone wet, it's kind of has a whole different view. Maybe that's the Gemini side of it. I don't know. But again,
There you go, the other side.
it is, I think you're right, governs all aspects of sound healing. Okay, here's specifically why it's the Gemini stone. It's all about communication. I like this line right here where it talks about sound healing through words or sound frequencies. Its energies teach us how sounds affect our physical reality and how we can change it simply by adjusting the way we use our words.
I like that.
Ah.
Which stone was that?
That's the
Okay, the one I was looking.
yes.
Yes, and a piece of information from Ann I heard over here was it has copper in it. Don't be licking it.
Oh, yeah. Where are we
The little
looking?
kittens and licking their
Yeah, we
stones.
lick the stones.
Can't take you guys anywhere.
So we'll be at the ER later tonight. Don't mind us.
The polished stone, the only real polished stone in the kit this time is a blue chalcedony. You know, it's an excellent stone for balancing the mind, body, and emotions. It creates harmony, but also enhances your generosity and goodwill to others.
You should have 2 of these in your
Yes,
kit.
everybody should got 2 of them because I got a pretty good selection of them. It's an ally that helps with divine communication, speech, and channeling work. So straight into the
Communication again.
Yep.
I mean, that's that communication with others, communication with
and again,
bringing in messages.
this is the communication stone. What chakra do you think it likes the best? It is the 3rd chakra, actually. And what physical ailments do you think it's probably good for? Sore throat.
There you
Kind of
go.
makes sense, doesn't it? You guys are smart.
Smart. Yeah.
And then the last stone is a really interesting. It was just an agate. I mean, there's so many agate variations out there. I just happened to choose this agate specifically because I like the spiritual qualities of it. As soon as I find it, it's called an Ellensburg Blue. Eloquent communication of the heart's truth, the soothing of the throat chakra, again, calming of the mind and opening of psychic vision. It promotes a gentle connection with the higher realms by calming the mind and assisting one in meditating. Yep. It can be used to cool and support the vocal cords and throat area.
It is cool. It's very cool. Yeah.
And again, every one of the stone cards always have an affirmation. I love affirmation statements when it comes to stones. My throat sings praises for the sweet sorrow of the heart. It's almost poetic even. So really great stones.
And in rewriting some of those mantras and those messages, some of these affirmations can be great to do that whenever you're trying to reprogram some of those messages.
But you guys still like always carrying the stone in your pocket for the day and this and that. Maybe carry your stone's card in your wallet or your back pocket. You know, when you're feeling that stone's energy and you're trying to connect with it, please, you're not helping me through this. I thought you would help me today. Read that affirmation statement, you know, and see what it'll bring to you. Some of the other things in your kit specifically, I tried to bring a little everything in. The texture for the Gemini is linen, so I found a nice sheet of linen. Provide you a nice little swath, a little bit of texture with it. The flowers, if you're a florist, you know, or this is the moon that's hard to get any of them at this time. You can go get some daffodils this time of year, but the lily of the valley and this other thing I can't even pronounce called ranunculus. It really is ranunculus. It's not ridiculous, it's ranunculus.
Yes, ridiculous is Rocky that's squeezed in amongst the bodies
I don't know
there.
if Crystal's still online, but he's about to snore. I'm positive.
Yeah.
He's comfy.
Yes.
And so let's talk about some of the fragrances. I like putting the fragrances in the new moon kits. Feed your mesa,
Yeah.
toss it in a fire ceremony, toss it in a tub, toss it in a tea. And I need to do a better job. I normally do it on the video and talk about, please don't use this one. It's not the edible kind. Please don't use this one. And every one of these, this specific time, you can put in a tea, you can put in a bath. And the remedies that came with the fragrances this time around specifically were so much fun to research. And I know we're talking on my section more than we usually do, that I made cards for them this time. So you have those specifically. Let's start with the apple incense. Just the simple apple incense. Did you know that obviously the apple is very sacred to a lot of goddesses? Gemini is a very feminine moon. So Aphrodite, Aduna. Iduna, I-D-U-N-A. Anybody know who Aduna is? Anybody had Disney Plus?
Yes.
If Paige is online, Paige would know who Iduna is. Iduna is who's the Let It Go girl? What's her name? Elsa's mother, who lived is Aduna. That was her name. Aduna is a Nordic goddess, by the way. Sorry.
Very good.
Side note, Freya, Pomona, there's your Hawaiian goddess, as well as Eris. In various folklore, the apple's associated with love, fidelity, right?
Yes.
We know about the Garden of Eden, vanity, the soul, and the afterlife, immortality. How did Snow White go to sleep again? Don't throw that out there.
Evil apple.
It's the most magical and symbolic laden of all fruits. To eat means acquiring out knowledge. It also has an erotic meaning to sexuality. So that's just the apple. But when we go to something like marjoram, and marjorams are really interesting. If you thought about the fragrances for this particular month, it was all fruits except for marjoram. And marjoram is a great additive to fruit teas. And I think when we get to Gemini at the full moon at the end of the year and I brew a tea, I'm almost bet it'll have marjoram in it. It's got a very it's got a sagey note to it, almost, I don't know, mild oregano, but it's sweeter than oregano, I guess you would say. I don't know if you smelled it.
I actually didn't smell it.
But
I wasn't in on the making of the kits because Obie decided I'm not good labor.
it's true. Apparently, it is said Aphrodite's the one that created marjoram. And she basically created it as a symbol of peace, harmony, and happiness. In folklore, they used to grow this on the grave. This is what you wanted to plant on your family's grave because it meant they found sweetness in the afterlife. In the Middle Ages, it was used as a sign of everlasting love and honor. It's an analgesic, it's antibacterial, it's antiseptic, it's carminative, and it's a diuretic. Wow. Powerful stuff. I got a big bag in there if you need more. It makes a pleasant tea that supports digestion and prevents gas. That's.
Where are you pointing at me?
I didn't point at you. I just said. There's probably instant replay somewhere on that.
Exactly.
It soothes the nerves and is also useful in the cold season. It'll help you with your what?
Throat.
Gemini. Oh, man, you guys are on the ball. Add to bath water or to massage oil to help relieve pain and joint pain. And the aroma is also calming and help the restless cold sufferers get to sleep.
We're going to soak him in some marjoram.
And then we got 2 citrus peels. And orange peel and lemon peel, how boring. One, they're terribly fragrant. They burn really well. They have great odor to them, but there's some specific magical or spiritual connection with both of the fruits. The lemon is the symbol of longevity, purification, and love. In the Feng Shui Asian communities, it's a symbol of abundance, prosperity, and good luck. You would place bowls of citrus fruits and lemons around your house for good luck. They still do that today. It does work. If you can use it in tea, it will cleanse toxicity within your energy body or your aura. If you could add it to love sachets and mixtures for high energy in your love life.
Hey.
And
that's why there's all that lemon peel all over our bedroom.
I understand. Soak in water, and you can use the mix. Soak the lemon peel in water, and you can use it as a mix of washing spiritual objects.
Oh,
especially spiritual objects that have been given to you secondhand. You want to cleanse all the energy off of a rattle, off of another, spiritual tool. You want to make sure they get rid of the energy. It'd be a good thing for it. Oranges, the other peel I provided in the kit, is about Chinese cultures. It's also used for prosperity in the Chinese New Year. It's an excellent herbal ally for bringing and keeping committed love. And I thought it was interesting that it said you when you burn as an incense when needing academic assistance.
Ah, we need to learn, and Gemini's all about learning, right?
Yep.
Yep.
The last thing I do want to talk about is the shape. And I did put something kind of interesting paper-wise in the kits this time.
Something for you to put together. I see them going, what?
But I know it's not that thing you used to do in elementary school to find out how many kids and what car and whether you were going to live here and there. But the shape's called an octahedron. And I normally do kind of little shapes. You get triangles, you get arrows, you get spheres and whatnot. An octahedron is such an interesting design that you really can't do it two-dimensionally. You have to do it three-dimensionally. Right. But what is an octahedron? It's two pyramids on top of each other. So you have you have the Gemini twins right here.
There you go. You're very young twins. Awesome. And they have all these sayings on there.
Yeah, that was kind of cool.
Fabulous. I know that we're hitting right at half an hour.
We're going a little long.
Yes. Trish is excited because she wants to make something. So she says that's great.
And Trisha, you get a kit. Yeah, I'll get you one.
Oh, and Linda, she's a big fan of lemons. She has that in her garden and her patio. And so lots of good properties there. Lots of good properties. I want to leave you guys with the thoughts of new moon is all about setting intentions. So since we're doing this the night before the full moon, all day tomorrow when you're noticing these Gemini energies, and I want you to ask yourself, what perceptions do you want to change? What are those belief systems that are underlying some of your reactions that you want to change those perceptions? You know, and what can you do to communicate better with yourself and to communicate with other people? So as you go into the new moon, to set intentions for what you want to bring about this Gemini season, and because that learning and that communication with other people is what's going to help you to manifest those things of your dreams. That's going to bring it into reality. But this is the piece that we have to pull in during this season. So anybody that's here live want to add anything before we start to close? Anybody on Facebook have anything that they want to put out there last minute?
I thought there was a lot of good information, you know, about the 3 planets and Gemini and the 2 different sides, and trying to just be an observer when you're in kind of a conflict. It's pretty cool. I think it really kind of resonates with the times right now.
Yeah, I think it's real powerful energy for right now. I think it could shift a lot of things.
And Kelly kind of hinted on something. I won't get into my personal story today because I kind of had a bad day. But I don't think you can, in this energy right now, I don't think you necessarily can, it'll come from an unexpected source. A conversation that meant nothing sparked an introspective look at something and caused me some trauma today. And so it's just an interesting thing. You know, you don't know what that source is going to be. And until I stepped away from it and said, okay, why now? Why today? And, you know, just be open to that.
Yeah. One thing I noticed in your cards, I think it was the blue chalcedony.
Just the septarian, so it's got to be modified.
No, I was talking about, one of the cards talked about repairing rips in the energy field.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, I talk to people about that a lot these days. And really with a lot of, you know, things going on in the world, if you keep your energy field clear and intact, that is the best way to protect yourself from anything coming in, whether it's at the physical level or the...
That's why you got 2 of them.
Okay, so we can...
One in each pocket.
Okay.
All kind of fixing on those energy fields.
Yeah.
And we have more for sale if you guys want additional. That's the blue chalcedony that we have quite a bit of.
Yep. And
or
we've
if
got
you
more
didn't get
kits
new
available.
kits.
Yeah, we've got more kits available, so just go. They're still posted on the Etsy shop. And I'll actually post a good picture of the whole kit put out before we leave for the mountain.
And we did sell out of our spring equinox Lunar, but we do have some other batches. And next month with the summer solstice, we'll be having Kelly's flavor.
And we'll do that live again. Everybody seemed to really like bottling their own. and kind of being involved in that blessing. So Kelly's already hinted it's going to be very lavender. I've already got some dried lavender for the bottles. I haven't designed the label yet, but
That was fun.
and we might do a little bit of a bigger batch because it did sell out quick.
Yes, I have to, if Angie outsells me, then I'll really feel bad.
It's a competition.
It's a competition. It's a competition for the batches.
And if you really, really want to be excited about new, we have another person here who is doing the fall batch. She claimed it. So
There you go.
very, very fun stuff, guys.
Yes.
Keep it going.
Yeah, it is a great group atmosphere and group projects that we like to participate in. So we really appreciate you guys joining us live on Facebook, or if you're watching this recording. I hope this is great information for you. And thanks to all of our friends.
It was scattered. It was scattered at night, but I'm good. I can't see nothing.
Couple of comments there.
I can't read them.
You can't read them. I have to get up really close. So, oh gosh. And Trisha says she has got bushes of white sage that she doesn't know what to do with.
Oh, I'm
We're
there.
going to Trisha's.
Yeah.
There.
Road trip.
Field trip.
There you go. We'll be calling you. Sounds like a great thing. Hope you guys have a wonderful new moon. Be ready for the insights. Set those intentions. Take care.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Yes, I love it how it wants to
Do you wanna
confirm. We're
exit?
still ending. We really are.